Welcome, you're watching the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. When it's becoming tough to breathe, people are getting sick because of high levels of pollution, and doctors routinely put out advisories against any exercise, it seems almost ridiculous that a cricket match is being held in the national capital. India and Bangladesh will play their first T20 match in Delhi on Sunday. Activists have asked new BCCI Chief Sourav Ganguly to shift the venue. As of now, the match will go on. What it tells you is that despite all the noise and claims of fewer severely polluted days in Delhi this year, no one is really taking the crisis seriously. For example, there is no clarity or coordination or roadmap of what is going to be done about stubble burning in neighbouring states of Punjab and Haryana, and stubble burning contributes up to 35% of Delhi's pollution according to SAFAR. The fact that a cricket match can even be scheduled at a time like this shows how unconcerned those in charge are. Talking to us today about Delhi's big pollution crisis are Ravina Raj Kohli, environmental activist campaigning for my right to breathe, and has also written a letter to Sourav Ganguly asking for the venue to be shifted. Speaking with Vivek Chattopadhyay, program manager at CSE, and Akshay Marathe, joint secretary of the Aam Aadmi Party, which is currently in power in Delhi. The union territory is also going in for elections, and pollution is becoming a big political issue. But Ravina, not big enough, clearly. The fact that they're even thinking about a cricket match, that activists like you have to write to say that please don't let these players play in these, conditions that could cause permanent harm. What does that say about how seriously it's being taken?
Tamanna, may I preface this debate with a comment here? The same argument holds true even for the run for unity that is being planned by the central government.
Yeah.
Any exercise in these conditions outdoors is absolutely detrimental to health. There are more than 70,000 published papers that link air pollution to negative impacts on health. No thinking person, no thinking sponsor, and no thinking government official should be allowing anybody in the public to be put to such risk for any reason whatsoever. So yes, we've had to write to Mr. Sourav Ganguly. We have been pleading with the BCCI even earlier, last year as well and before. But we've, our pleas have fallen on deaf ears. So this time around, we just decided to write an open letter to him, thinking that Mr. Ganguly is a sports person himself. He will understand how important good air and good playing conditions are to athletes. More than that, also, think about the spectators who unwittingly buy tickets and go and sit there for hours and expose their children and their vulnerable parents to this. This is a moral and ethical violation. This is a violation of human rights, and this needs to be stopped. These kind of decisions need to be reviewed.
Yeah.
No running, no marathons, no sports until we clear the air. Schools also have to take charge of these schedules and make sure that their children are not subjected to irreversible damage due to air pollution.
Absolutely. No one is taking this seriously enough, and who better to tell us about how hazardous this could be but Atul Vasan, former cricketer who's joining us now on the show. I also want to pull up for you pictures from 2017 in the context of cricket and pollution of the Sri Lankan team actually having to play with masks on. They got sick later. Some of them threw up after the match in the dressing room, and that was the first time perhaps that everyone really stood up and took notice. Atul Vasan, isn't it ridiculous that we're even thinking of playing this match? Shouldn't the cricketing fraternity stand up and say no, we won't do it? Shouldn't the players do it? I don't know why Bangladesh is sending its team to suffer.
First of all, I think I am actually a bit surprised that this has become such a big issue. I can understand that it is a tokenism that this match has brought everything back into focus, but we already know what is wrong with our system. It's like just an event or one country cannot solve the problem of global warming. There are issues bigger. What about the 30 million people living in Delhi? What about Delhi team has been practicing for 4 days? We are actually managing with this. We live here, so we have to live with it unless something happens drastically, and nothing will happen overnight. The crop burning is an issue, Diwali is an issue, So I think this T20 is not a big issue. The test match which was played was an issue because it is over 5 days,
Yeah.
and this kind of thing builds up for a sportsman. But just international sportsmen suffering means that what about the first level, the Ranji Trophy cricketers, the under 19?
Yeah.
Life goes on in Delhi. So, you know,
But-
just this match being not
But Atul,
played will not
that's
solve
the
it.
problem.
This can bring things
life
into
goes
focus.
on.
Fine.
Atul, this life goes on. Wala, you know, saying is the problem. And the thing is, when international cricketers say that we won't
Kya
put our
kare?
health at risk, it makes a big difference. You have that power and that celebrity to make a
Come
difference.
on, you know.
Kya kare? Should we? Okay, I just
Let
want to
me
get
tell
Raveena
you.
to respond
You know,
very
3
quickly to the
hours-
kya kare. Yeah. Yeah, Raveena.
Oh, sorry, was that question to me?
Yes. I just want you to respond very quickly to the point Atul Basan is saying. He's saying, kya kare? Kya kare? Ranji players also deal with this pollution. This is just a one-day match. It's not 5 days. What can we do? We live with it.
That's not the
3
point.
hours.
It's high time these decisions were reviewed all around. I mean, it's not just about 3 hours. Ask the players if they are willing to just make money at the risk of irreversible health. I mean, let's talk seriously on a humanitarian level here. Nobody wants sports to stop. Nobody wants cricket to stop. Everybody wants, you know, to enjoy it. But the fact of the matter is that people in charge have to make sure that people are trained, athletes are trained, sports person are trained in better air conditions, in better environmental conditions, and their health is not compromised for the sake of money. Is that too much to ask?
Atul, is that, you know,
Kya kare? Every government agency, every political party has to come together unequivocally and make this happen. I mean, Delhi is a problem through the year, so are many other cities in
Actually.
India. Delhi becomes the most polluted city in the world at this time of the year.
yeah. No,
So
Atul,
all
I-
we are
I
saying is
get
in the T20 scenario, and we've said this before, the T20 letter becomes news because it is T20.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we have not had efforts going on all these years, right? And it doesn't mean that other players who are not in the T20 or not in test cricket or other sorts of sports persons are not equally important. And what about spectators and ordinary citizens, school going children? So this is a real problem, and it's not a joke, and it has to be treated very seriously.
Okay, Atul, you want to come back on that? And you know, the point is everyone
Yeah,
is equally
quickly.
important. But an India-Bangladesh T20 match
Yeah.
gets the kind of attention which can galvanize everyone and say enough is enough.
Yeah, I get your point, and I'm all for it. Actually, this match can bring things into focus, back into focus, and certainly there are things which can happen more than what's happening. Odd even is happening, diesel buses are out, the generators are stopped, and the crop burning they can't control. They're trying various things, but it's not happening. So all these things accentuate the problem, and I suffer the most because I am asthmatic. So you have to leave Delhi for a few days if I have to breathe. But I am telling you that just to say that sportsmen will suffer. What about the 30 million people living here? The crowd lives in Delhi. They just come to a ground where there's a lot of greenery. At least it's much better than they are going back to Karol Bagh or Paharganj
Which is
or
exactly
Jamna
what
Park.
we've been saying.
So I'm just not on the same page when you just say the matches should not happen. You know, life goes on. And these international cricketers, and I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
We went to New Zealand, Dunedin. It was -3. Imagine players from Chennai with 4 jumpers on. You know, I mean, they played because this is a part and parcel of international cricket. So they'll come here for a day. It's not end of the world. Nobody is dying of pollution in a day or two. So don't just create a fuss. Just play the game. Just you are doing the right thing by bringing into focus with this show, with this program.
Don't create the
I'm
fuss, just
for
play a
that.
game.
But
Okay,
just to say it should
should
not
we
happen,
have this
not sorry.
cricket match? Should we have this cricket match going on, and is -3 degrees the same thing as this, you know, choking pollution? Is it the same thing? Let me just get Vivek Chattopadhyay's, point of view in here. Let me just get the other panelists in before I open up the debate once again. Vivek, do you think this is being taken seriously enough? Now, how have we positioned this debate? This match is happening. There are activists who are saying, you know, it should not be happening over here in these conditions. Don't expose these cricketers and spectators and others to risk. And then there are some saying that, you know, now we live with it. Does it show that we're not serious enough, that everything we do is tokenism?
No,
or
I
even
think,
is tokenism?
No. It's, see, in case of like this kind of severe conditions, and most likely it may increase up to emergency situation also in terms of air quality. If you consult any health expert, they would say that rigorous exercises, outdoor activities are not allowed. Even they don't recommend morning walk because the levels are very high, and there are a lot of lack of knowledge in public domain that short term exposure to pollution doesn't harm. Actually it harms in the same way or maybe more drastically than the long term. Both are harmful, and there are pollutants which are very dangerous in terms of they may cause problems with the heart conditions. The people having like people who are doing rigorous exercises may get immediately affected. So I think there is a lot of lack of understanding, and I think the Department of Sports must consult the health ministry before organizing such activities. Delhi is not at all suitable for in such a situation for any sports activity. So I think it shows a lack of understanding in the international forum also.
Okay, a quick word from Akshay Marathe from the Aam
China
Aadmi
has
Party.
to do a lot before organizing the Beijing Olympics games. Right?
Yes, they had to, and even one day could be harmful. And I think it also shows how seriously you are taking this issue. Akshay, you know, my concern is if you're going to say it's just one day, it's okay, life goes on, but life goes on until it doesn't. We'll have to sit up and recognize how bad it is, because you know the fact is we haven't found a solution of any kind for stubble burning. It still goes on every year. That look, Haryana and Punjab are burning crops. What do? There are no solutions in play.
You see, Tamanna, you have to look at this pollution problem around the year, not just in these 2 days. If you look at the data for this year especially, the first 7-8 months of in Delhi were actually wavering between good and moderate. The PM levels, PM 2.5 levels were, you know, between good and moderate. But as soon as this stubble burning has started, in fact, even during Diwali this year, we had one of the cleanest mornings in the last 4 years. Of course, it was still pretty bad. We need to do a lot more to curb firecrackers on Diwali. But despite those firecrackers being burned, we still had a better Diwali morning than we had the previous year. But every year during these 2-3 weeks, Delhiites face some of the worst air quality that anywhere in the world has ever seen. And it's not that you know, we can keep discussing this year after year after year. We have to start holding people accountable. I have noticed even on this show, we don't have anyone from the BJP who controls the Haryana government. We don't have anyone from the Congress who controls the Punjab government. So we need to bring these parties to book
with
and
all
ask
due
them
respect,
these hard
Akshay, to
questions.
spokespersons,
Why
they do
is
not
it that
control
they are
their
not
parties
able to,
or the governments run by those parties. With all due respect to spokespersons, I have often had debates with political representatives. I have called the Aam Aadmi Party because you are currently running the city of Delhi. I mean, I can call all political parties, and with due respect to you also, Akshay, beyond a point, you cannot speak for the Delhi government. I understand that. You can take a political position.
but
you are here on this panel representing
since
policy.
You have yourself recognized that this problem in Delhi, you have yourself recognized that a large part of this problem has to do with the farms of Punjab and Haryana.
Not large, 35%
So it would be useful for your viewers also to understand. So it would be useful what is it that BJP and Congress governments in Haryana and Punjab are doing
period
to
of
solve this
time,
problem.
Tamanna.
I understand that.
Akshay is not right.
Akshay is not right.
I've sort of derailed your plan by not calling any political representatives, because now all of your, you know, we did better than BJP is falling on deaf ears. There's no one to listen to it, because that's not the debate. That's not the debate. Everyone is suffering, whatever political party they belong to. Can you move beyond I did better and you did better? it goes back to the point. Ravina, please come in. I saw you wanting to react.
Look,
Goes back to the point about
I'm
how
trying to make
unseriously this is
I'm
being
trying
taken.
to make a logical, coherent. I'm trying to make a logical, coherent.
Let me give you a few
argument
more
about
minutes to
seeking
make that argument
accountability.
more coherent
If the media
while I
doesn't
go to
seek
Ravina.
accountability, who is going to seek accountability?
Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me give you a
I
few
just
more
want to
minutes for
tell
coherence.
Akshay Marathe.
Yes, Akshay Marathe. Yes,
What are they
Ravina.
doing about
I
stubble
want to say something
Then
to
who's going
Akshay
to ask these
Marathe.
questions?
Yes,
I want to
yes,
say
yes.
something to Akshay Marathe.
Yes.
I want to say something to Akshay Marathe. Mr. Marathe, we are very conscious of the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party is working on measures to improve the air of Delhi. We have personally met on these matters with your party members and I'm aware of it. However, I want you to know that this issue starts way before the stubble burning starts happening. And it's not your fault alone, it is everybody's fault. And everybody needs to come together to resolve this. Only when this becomes a very serious political issue will somebody take notice, because politicians take health and public health very lightly because it doesn't lead to votes. So I just want you to know, stubble burning is an issue, but it's an issue for a short period of time. It gives us a big spike. Firecrackers is an issue for a short period of time. Delhi's air pollution, and indeed in other cities, is huge. And unless there is political will from every single party,
Yes.
and sports persons stand up and say, I will not be compromised, and children stand up and say, I don't want to play in this air, and parents say, don't put my child at risk, this is when things will change.
Atul Vasan.
And more so for the underserved people who can't afford masks,
I'm just
they
saying.
can't
I'm in
afford
complete
filters,
agreement. I wanna
they
just
work
get
on
Atul
the
Vasan in.
streets, and these are
One
your
minute.
voters.
I am in complete agreement.
Okay, 1 minute. Let Atul Vasan come.
Let me respond. I am in complete agreement with you, ma'am.
I am actually, you know,
completely agree that it
everybody
requires
is,
political
One
Yes,
minute,
I
one
know
by
this
one, one by one, one by
And
one,
as
guys,
you have
one by
also
one.
noted,
Akshay,
you
will
have
you
already
just wait?
met with people in our
No,
party.
no, Akshay, will you wait your turn?
parties.
Akshay, please wait your turn. Wait your turn, sir. Let me come to Atul Vasan. Everyone will get a turn. And if we speak one by one, people can actually hear
Yeah.
what you're saying. Let's try that
No,
out. Atul
I'm
Vasan,
just,
yes.
you know, I actually am bored listening to, you know, who's to blame. I mean, if you just put it on the political parties or the government,
Yeah.
you know what, they are trying to cure cancer by homeopathy, by odd even, by generators. You know, it's something to do with the area where we get the dust from the Western Sahara. Actually, the desert is growing also. So I think afforestation is one issue. The second is that, you know, crop burning. If 3 states decide, somebody mentioned Beijing. I know, I saw that. I used to go to Beijing. It was bad. Now it's clear. It was just because of traffic. You know, Kundli Manesar, the bypass has taken 8 years over the time they were supposed to finish because of land acquisition. So we have given so many rights. China just give danda. You know, tomorrow you have to do, that's it. You know, India, we don't have that leverage because human rights comes in and the states and the cases go on in the courts, you know. So this kind of strength is not there and the kind of intent is not there. You mean to tell me that 3 governments cannot stop crop burning?
Exactly.
Just empower the farmers, give them the machines. There are machines, but nobody wants to spend money. So what do you want them to do? Please tell me the micro. Don't beat on the macro. If you are the chief minister today, what will you do? Why just sports guys, you know, why kids are going to school every day, people are going to work,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
just these sportsmen should say no? Even if they say no, our lives will get better. Just give me solutions, micro solutions. Don't beat around the bush. The issue is bigger than this.
Good point, Atul. Good point, Atul. Everyone has to play their part, including sportsmen. Yes, Akshay.
I am saying to ask these questions, you have to invite BJP and Congress to your show.
Oh God, Akshay, will you get over the
How
people
else
who
are
are
you
not
going
on
to
the
ask these
show?
questions?
Again, yeah, again.
God.
Come
Matlab-
No,
on.
I won't get over.
I think
How
you are
can you
missing
not
BJP
invite
and
the
Congress
parties responsible
spokespersons
for
more than
Punjab
anything
and
else.
Haryana on a show that has to do with pollution?
Okay. Akshay, okay.
How can you hold a show on
Okay,
pollution
Akshay,
without
Akshay,
asking
I'm
the
sorry,
2
I'm
main
sorry. I'm going to cut
stakeholders
this short, Akshay
who are
Marathe, and I'm
responsible for
speaking
Punjab
only to
and
you
Haryana?
right now. Are you interested in answering
Again,
our
I
questions
asked the
here
question.
or not?
I asked the question.
If you are not, then you are free not to
I
answer.
asked the question.
But I think do not divert attention by who is there and who is not there.
I asked the
Are
question.
you willing to answer questions? You figure that out, Akshay.
If the
I just asked
question
the
is
question.
about stubble burning, why won't you invite
Atul
BJP and
Vasan
Congress to
asked,
your show?
Are bhai, Atul
They are
Vasan
responsible
asked,
for Punjab and Haryana.
I think you are
Give me a
badly
solution.
missing the kind of
If
debate
you
you
are
are
the-
used to
if
where
you are
all
the chief
political
minister,
parties shout
what
at
will you
each
do?
other. That's not going to happen here.
Who
So-
gave permission
Yeah.
for the match to go on?
Yeah.
Who gave permission for the match to go
Oh
on?
my
Which
God.
government
Again, back to the match.
agencies?
I am shocked.
आप बीजेपी और कांग्रेस को नहीं बुलाएंगे पोल्यूशन के शो पर
Okay.
और मेरे को लेक्चर
I just want to know that question since everybody is saying
आप?
nothing matters about the match.
Look at the dissonance. Look at the dissonance. Look at the dissonance right over here. People are not willing to speak to each other. People are not willing to speak to each other, and we are hoping to find solutions to pollution. Okay, Atul Vasan, you are upset that we're talking about the match and that Ravina is bringing up the question of the match. Tell us why you think it's not important. Don't you think that if people raise a hue and cry about this match, it will bring more awareness? The fact that a match can be played is also telling people somewhere or the other that it's okay at the end of the day. It's fine at the end of the day. देखो खेल तो रहे हैं. It's not that bad.
I got your point. I told you this on the outset. I told you I agree with you,
Yeah.
and we should not burden this debate by stating obvious facts which we've already done. We should move forward. I am just asking a question. What can the government do? Even if I bring Germany's chancellor and Trudeau, the cleanest countries and the most governed, well-governed countries to Delhi, what will they do? Tell me. Tell me micro. The guy who's saying
That's
BJP
why I
Congress,
asked Atul,
अगर
I
दुनिया
said
की
which
best government
government
आ जाएगी तो वो
agency
क्या
gave the
करेगी
permission?
इस समय?
And
So again, if you've come back to the match, doesn't matter which government agency tells me to get out of my home tomorrow to go for work. Why just the match? Match is not an issue. It's just bringing the issue in focus. So just leave the match alone. Tell me, you have got this. You are getting the Euro BS4 next year. So the slowly things are turning, but it's too slow for me. I will die before things get better. Beijing got better in 4 years. But we don't have that political will because the crop burning adds to only 30%. 30% is the traffic. Kundli Manasa Palwal actually stopped
Atul,
6,000,
you
7,000
talked about
buses coming to
BS6,
Delhi every
you
day.
talked
crossing
about
Delhi.
BS6.
So things will get
One
better, but
minute,
it's too slow.
1 minute. Ravina and
You
Atul.
talked
Yeah,
about
yes,
BS6. BS6. You talked about BS6. You talked about
Yeah.
BS6, Atul. The thing is that Mrs. Sitaraman
Yeah, whatever,
has
the new
allowed
technology coming where we'll have
BS4
lower emissions,
compliant
yeah.
vehicles to still be sold. So where is the political will in any party is my question. It hasn't set in properly. It may appear in people's manifestos,
Yeah.
but nothing is enforced and nothing is enforceable in its current state.
No, and more shocking is
there
more
we
more
should talk about
shocking
that.
is
Why
no,
just
no.
the match?
Okay, more shocking is that Akshay Marathe has decided to not participate in this debate because people from Congress and BJP are not there. Matlab is literally like out of syllabus question aa gaya, so you're not sure what to answer because political parties are so used to this format where they will finger point at each other and then that's it. They don't have to say anything else. That's unfortunate. That's an opportunity lost, in my opinion, to actually put your point across and what your policy mandate is. Anyway, let me come to you, Vivek, on what really is lacking in the bigger picture. We started this by asking, is there seriousness? And yes, the match is one way to account for whether there is seriousness or not and gauge that. The other way is, why are schools still on? If it's severe, then you need to shut schools on those days. You need to raise the red flag. Why do you think right now the Delhi government and the central government both are happy to say that, hey, we're better off than last year, which may be true, but clearly it's not good enough?
Definitely, if you look at the what the governments have done, definitely most of the strategies has happened because of long-term advocacy on each of the issues. Like BS6 decision was taken after a long time. Power plants are still not adhering to the norms. They have been delayed to meet the norms. So there are a whole lot of issues related to traffic, related to crop residue burning for few days, but garbage burning that goes on in Delhi throughout the year. There are industrial waste burning. So there are a whole lot of things that the local government has to do, because 30% of the problem if coming from outside, you cannot blame everything outside. Definitely Punjab and Haryana also have to do their bit, and it is for the sake of farmers' health also and the farm sector also. So there is a lack of coordination by the central government. I would say that they need to bring all the stakeholders together and take this issue seriously, like the way defense is taken, like the way health is taken, otherwise, like the way flood is taken. This is not a natural disaster, it's a man-made, it's our disaster made. So I think that is the thing, and the sports is a major game changer. in the entire thing. Whenever the sport events happen, governments commit to good air quality for the safety of athletes. So I think this is the responsibility of the government to ensure that none of the athletes suffer because of lack of knowledge or lack of because they may not be aware of the facts. So I think it is the responsibility of the government to ensure clean air and then only allow any sports event.
It's India's responsibility to ensure that there is a safe match
for the unity.
when there are international cricketers coming in. I know, Atul, you hate to hear about the match right now, but you know that is the largest.
I just want to I just want to add, nobody has actually given any solution. They have blamed the government, but even if they were the chief minister, give me 1 or 2 points. As an uneducated guy who's just a sportsman, I can think of 2, 3. They've already talked about making this green belt next to Manesar or Palwal or Bawal, where they can stop the advancing desert. All the winds carry that dust into Delhi. It just stays here as a smog. So just these crop burning is an issue, but there are more bigger issues because electric vehicles should be more encouraged. You have got such a duty. Tesla in Hong Kong was duty free and government gives you subsidy. So if you can just move to that level, but once they do that, the car dealers cry, there are lesser cars on the road, but the sales are going down. So if you just blame government, it's not right because you don't have a solution. Just give me micro solutions in your mind. Just don't say that this, even if you are there, what will you do?
Yeah.
This is it. We have to live with it, or we have to have solutions
well,
long term.
for one thing,
you should stop. You should bring in electric vehicles.
Yeah.
You should get this afforestation to stop this desert from the west coming in, and 2, 3 more things.
I think
what more can the government do?
The first thing that can be done definitely is to put a curb on stubble burning. You already have a mechanism like the GST Council, where you have different states from different parties coming together on one platform to figure out how much tax they want to levy, right? They meet, so you already have a format in place. Why can't that be done?
Can I tell you something?
Why can't that be done to tackle something like stubble burning? For example, can the central government take a lead in that?
Can I tell you something?
Yes, Atul.
The problem? Because the stubble burning is an issue where nobody knows that the farmer has got no option because he is not making money. If he clears this by hand, it is so labor intensive, the cost goes, he will lose money. But there are machines available. If you can give these machines, they can do it. But this is again a funding issue.
Yeah.
So what is the farmer supposed to do? He cannot clear it by 20, 30 labor. He has to do, so he just burns it. You can stop him, put him in prison, but that will be unfair also. So find a solution for him where you empower them to do it properly.
I think you put
get
it
down
out
to micros. Everybody is just talking macro.
So the fact is that governance is not an easy job. No one is saying that those in government have it easy. You're right. If you reduce the amount of vehicles on the road, then you have an auto industry which is suffering in any case without pollution. So no one is saying it's an easy job, but that's what we elect them for. They are the ones you're going to have to ask questions from. Ravina, as someone who helms the whole right to breathe movement across so many years, you've seen some systems being put into place. People are bursting less firecrackers. That's come from awareness. But there is so much more left to do. And the fact that you could even have an international game and no one really thinks it's a big deal tells you how far we have to go.
We have miles to go. We have done only this much, that we have made this a prime time issue, and people are aware and the media is aware on how to report it, and the average citizen knows a lot more than he knew before. But the fact is, the real action and the game changer will happen when influencers like sports persons, like politicians, like our Bollywood stars, like thought leaders in corporate India make decisions that really make the changes. It's not going to be done by government alone. And governments also have to come together and realize this is a massive issue for the entire public. This is not an issue just because the Bangladesh team is coming. This is an issue with all sporting activities happening in any high-risk areas. Let's get that very clear. The letter to Mr. Sourav Ganguly is only one effort, but it makes headlines and it's made primetime TV, and I'm glad for it because it puts things into perspective and it brings us to the question, we need change, and we cannot, air pollution is not a joke, and let's not take it lightly.
Absolutely. It's a matter of life and death ultimately, and those who have celebrity must use them for these reasons. I hope everyone comes together on that, and definitely a big ask for the new BCCI Chief Sourav Ganguly. We're waiting to see big things from him. This could be a big start to actually take a position where it really matters. Atul wasn't smiling because we've spoken about Sourav Ganguly's challenges just a few days ago. I want to thank all of you for joining us on debate number 1 on the India development debate. Yes, Atul.
Thank you.
Any special last words?
Thanks, Tamanna.
No, just bought just use this platform to plug my air purifiers for the car.
Well, a lot of people are trying to sell you air purifiers. The ones who can purify your air are the ones you have to decide whether to vote in or not. And read their terms and conditions very carefully. We'll take a very short break here. When we come back, we're talking about India's energy security challenges. 12 MOUs have been signed between Saudi Arabia and India during Prime Minister Modi's trip to Riyadh. One of them is of particular interest because it will ensure that India's reserves are stacked up more than we have right now. How do we deal with our energy security challenges, and how will this new Saudi deal help? We're coming back with a deep dive on this after this very short break. Don't go away.